everyone. Today I am here with Maya. I'm going to let her introduce herself in a second here. I'm super excited to talk to her. Maya has had the chance to kind of come here in Spain in person, so her story's a little bit different than some of your other stories, so I thought it would be really cool for you to kind of jump on, share your experiences with everyone. So yeah, thank you guys. Okay, first of all, just kind of introduce yourself, say your name, where you're from, how old you are, how long you've been here.
Yeah, I'm Maya. I'm 19 years old and I'm from Germany. And yeah, I spent the last about 4 weeks here. Yeah.
I think this is week 4, yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a little less than a month. Okay, so just a little bit of your background. What was some of your riding experience before you came here?
So I started horseback riding when I was 10. And I was always riding in this one stable, lesson horses in a group. So I had like 2 private lessons in my whole life. And yeah, I was riding every week. I don't know what else.
So I remember you shared like the type of horses that you were riding and kind of like what the lesson structure was like.
Yeah, so I was only riding lesson horses, of course, so all of them were a little bit crazy, and they all had their own kind of things they would do. And so the lesson would always be in a way that we were about like 5 to 8 people in a riding arena with one teacher. And then in the beginning we would all ride behind each other and the teacher would kind of instruct us what to do, and then when we got a little bit more experienced we could ride our own stuff and she would give us advice, but it was still like 5 to 8 people in one riding arena.
Yeah. And you said that with that many people it was a bit harder to get kind of personalized feedback, let's say.
Yes, definitely, because the teacher could of course only look at one person at a time and give one person at a time feedback. So
yeah. Okay. So when you came here, and I told you a couple of things. I told you, first of all, we don't have lesson horses. And I also told you that you were going to download our horse riding lessons app and you were going to take these guided audio riding lessons. What did you think when I told you that?
First, I wasn't sure how it would work, because for me, I always thought that riding is something you cannot learn remotely, so you have to have the teacher there with you and kind of look at you. And I was like, okay, let me check out this lessons app. I was a little bit, not scared, but I was wondering how it would work, because also you told me that I should just watch the lunging videos and then I could lunge the horses. And I've lunged like once before with my teacher when I was like 11 or something. And so I was like, okay, I'll try to learn this from a video.
Yeah.
Yeah. But in the end, it worked out great.
So yeah, the lunging videos that she's mentioning, that's actually our speaking the horse language. So yes, she kind of watched the follow my feet and then the lunging. We got horses wandering around here, you guys, so if you hear them, that's what it is. But yeah, so you watched those videos and then you went and you started lunging, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. Okay, so then you actually got on the horse and tried the audio lessons. First, let's talk about your first ride with Lily. So that one wasn't with an audio lesson, that was just me kind of watching you where you're at. How did that ride go? What did you think about Lily and when you realized you weren't on a lesson horse?
Yeah, so the first ride was a little crazy, I would say. Because Lily is a lot speedier than any horse I'm used to. So with the lesson horse, it was kind of like, if you don't do anything, they will hold. With Lily, it's kind of like, if you don't do anything, she will trot. And if really fast trot, not like slowly, almost falling asleep. So that was really new for me. And it was really hard to slow her down for me. So I was really struggling with that, definitely.
What were some things that you noticed? I mean, now obviously you've been here a few weeks. Thinking back to that first ride, what are some things that you realized about yourself that maybe you were lacking at that time?
A lot of everything. So my previous trainers never really paid attention a lot to my seat, so I was lacking a lot of stuff there. So when you told me like use your ab muscles to slow her down, I was like, oh, I've never done that before. And yeah, also of course what I'm still working on is having less rein contact. So like I think what I always was taught and like earlier in my riding life, I don't know how to say that, was if you want them to move, more leg and like really not kick them but like kick them. and if you want to slow down, reins. And then with Lily, she wouldn't let me do that because she was like, you're not doing that with me. If you want me to slow down, you really have to slow me down. And then with the breathing and everything, that really helped me. And yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so your first ride on Lily didn't go so well, but here you are now, a few weeks later, less than a month, let's say. Why don't you share a little bit? Like, what's been your routine? Because you've been using that audio lessons inside the horse riding lesson app basically every time you ride. So why don't you kind of just share, like, what kind of exercises have you been doing? What have you been working on with Lily, and how it's been going?
Yeah, so I first started doing different warm-ups. So first the number 1, and then number 3, and then number 4. And after I was done with this, I kind of kept doing warm-up number 4 every time in the beginning of my ride, because I was really working on getting Lily to slow down, and when I was asking for a transition, actually do the transition right away and not half a circle later or something like that. And working on definitely a lot on myself, like using my abs, using my breathing, not using too much reins. And when I was done with these warm-ups, I would do different lessons. So I tried the leg yields, and I tried the figure eights, and also the ride-along stories were really fun for me. Especially because I was concentrating more on, okay, we're doing this together, and let's try that, and not so much only focusing on, oh no, she needs to slow down. So by not focusing on that, I could actually slow her down better than when I was only like stressing out about, oh no, she's speeding up again. So yeah.
Yeah. And so you started kind of doing the perfect warm-ups, you said. Also with the leg yield, that was, I think you had said, was it your first time doing the leg yields?
I had done it on, I don't know, maybe 3 times or something.
Okay.
Not really a lot.
And what did you notice kind of doing the leg yields, again, with the audio lessons here with Lily?
It was really nice to have like someone in my ear telling me exactly what to do, because when you're with 8 people and the teacher is like, okay, now this is what you do and now just do it, and then when it's your turn you already forgot everything again. And so that way I could really concentrate. And so when I did the leg yields, it was never on a circle, so it was really nice to start with that because it was actually easier for me. And yeah, I think especially in walk it worked pretty well in a circle. For the first time trying, at least.
So Maya, since she's been here, has been riding Lily 5 times a week, doing basically different audio lessons every time, except with the perfect warm-up number 4 was kind of her warm-up, and then she would do something different. So you tried a whole lot of different ones. You did a lot of the different dressage ones, all of the different rider stories, even the ones it had canter exercises in some of them, but instead of doing the canter stuff, we kind of deviated and did trot stuff instead or whatever. But now that you've done so many different ones, which ones are your favorites?
I really enjoyed the riding stories, as I said.
Yeah.
And then I also really enjoyed doing the dressage intro test, because that was kind of a different thing to practice, because with the warm-up, it's always like, you tell me, okay, red light, and then I have to do a transition. But it's like on the spot. And then with the dressage intro test, it was more like, okay, I know I have to stop at this exact letter. And then that was fun to also practice, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so for the ride-along stories, that's a new thing that we added to the app, where essentially I'm sharing a story and you're actually doing the movements in the story without giving away the stories too much. But maybe what did you think about the stories, or what did you like the most about the stories? How was it different? What was your favorite story? Something.
So the first one I did was actually where I was riding through the jungle, and let's say there were a lot of tree branches I had to duck under, and there was also one where I was only riding with one hand the whole time, which surprised me how well it went, because I was scared that Lily would just speed up if I was basically not having any rein contact most of the time, because I was kind of only guiding her with my seat and my eyes and stuff, and I was like, oh, is this gonna work? But it worked pretty well, I think.
Yeah. It was fun for me to watch her, because some of the stories, again, I don't want to ruin too much of it, but there's like baby monkeys and bears and different activities that you have to do. So even just me watching, I can't always hear the story, but just watching her like, bear, go away, bear. Like, it was just really funny to kind of be able to watch you doing the stories. Okay, so yeah, it's been, a few weeks now that since you started. We already kind of shared a little bit how your first experience on Lily was. Now here we are almost a month later. What have been some of your biggest changes or improvements that you've noticed?
I mean, I was so proud when, for the first time, I got her to really have this slow trot and also do a transition right when I asked for. So that were definitely improvements. And then now I can actually tell when I'm kind of doing it right. I don't know if that makes sense, but I can feel the difference between when I'm writing and I'm trying to slow her down and I use too much rein, and then something clicks in my brain and I'm like, oh, now it's working. And yeah, that's definitely a big difference.
I just want to point that out too, because that's what you just said is actually huge. Feel is, as a coach, one of the most difficult things to teach. And the fact that you were doing an app and you can now feel it for yourself is actually pretty huge. Yes. And I'm going to share one thing, because obviously I get to see her, which is the cool part. I don't get to see everyone who uses the app. I see videos of my clients who do my coaching programs, but who use the app, I don't see them as much. But with her, I got to see, and like today was her last ride on Lily, and she was doing canter, and she definitely, don't get me wrong, there's some moments she needs to improve, but when it works, it works. And you definitely got some moments where you had some really slow canter with her. She kind of, when you do it right and things just click, she kind of rounds up and she's really sitting and she's super slow and it just looks really nice. And she's not going to give that away for free, Mrs. Lily, but she gave it to you because you worked hard for it and you earned it. So that's I think a pretty good achievement. I don't know about you, but
yeah, and it felt amazing too. Yeah. It didn't only look pretty.
Yes, no, it looked very good. Okay, let's see. How are my lessons, not just like the style of the app, but maybe the explanations I give or how I have you do things in the app itself, the way I structure the lessons? How is maybe my style different than what you've experienced before with previous instructors?
I think it was a lot more telling me exactly what I'm doing. So what is my right hand doing? What is my left hand doing? What is my seat doing? What are my eyes doing? Except, yeah, like in comparison to my previous teachers, it was more like, okay, so you have to use a lot of, I don't know, outer rein and then inner leg and whatever, and you tell me, okay, so you actually move your seat a little bit to the outside and like have your weight shifted and sit on your outer seat bone or something, and you can really kind of feel your own body and be like, okay, that's what I'm doing or something. So that was definitely different because you had, of course, more time because you were not focusing on many students at the same time. You could only like be calm and like tell me what to do. So yeah, sometimes it was, let's say, too calm because I was like, oh, I'm already doing it. What am I doing next? But yeah, it was really nice to have someone actually tell me exactly, okay, now you do this, now you do that. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. What would your advice be to somebody who hasn't tried the app yet?
Try it. There's nothing to, I don't know.
It's not going to make you worse, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's not like you try the app and then afterwards you can't write at all anymore. Nothing works.
Okay. Okay, I think that's all of my questions. Is there any other advice or kind of last things that you would like to share from your experiences?
I'm just pretty amazed how much it, like, I don't know, how far it got me, I guess. Because I can definitely tell that it got better every time. And then sometimes, of course, there were like some pushbacks and like sometimes it didn't work as well as I hoped it would. But it was definitely helping me so much. And yeah, it's a great feeling to remember the first time I was writing Lily and then compare it to other times when it actually felt right. And like, I felt that there was something, I don't know, it was working.
And is it kind of interesting for you? I mean, it's only been like less than 30 days. The amount that you've progressed in 30 days. Can you imagine like where you would be if you continued this for another year? Or
Yes. Sometimes I think about that and I'm like, wow, if I could keep improving at that level, that would be crazy. Yeah.
No, that's one of the biggest things. Sometimes, I'm on the phone with people, they send me their applications to work with me. And the number one thing that I will say, most people underestimate what they can accomplish in a year. So they'll share with me their goals for the next 6 to 12 months, and it's usually a lot smaller than what I would set out for them. And that's because, I have the map and the training plan and I can tell you how to get there. But I think if you haven't experienced that before, it's really hard to be like, wow, I can go from here to there within 30 days.
Yeah, especially because when I was riding at my stables at home, the improvement I got in 5 months was probably like this. I mean, to be fair, I was only riding once a week and not 5 times a week.
Yeah.
But still.
Yeah. No, it makes a difference. And it was fun watching you. So yes, Maya's obviously very lucky because she got to be here in beautiful Spain. Do you have anything to say about, I have some clients, they're interested in coming here to Spain and kind of riding with me here. What do you have to say about that and your experience?
I mean, if you get the chance, do it. It's amazing. I don't know, you can probably see the view, and the horses are so amazing, and the puppies and everything. Yeah.
And the Spain really culture.
Great. I mean, I haven't experienced that too much because I was mainly...
Did you walk in on a festival or something? Or?
Yes, I did, but the problem was that in the little town, there are only people above the age of 60 and then 8-year-olds.
That's true.
So I was kind of out of place.
There's no nightclubs here. It's definitely not like Berlin.
But yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you very much for joining me. As I said, I'm glad that I got to kind of actually see your progress in person. And for anyone else who's interested in trying out the Horse Riding Lessons app, just comment down below if you have a Apple or an Android phone. I'll send you the link to that phone. So yeah, comment Apple or Android and I'll send you a link so you can download our app, try it out for yourself, and send me a video after 30 days. I want to see your progress because yeah, you have to compete against her. All right, thank you everyone, and thank you Maya for joining me.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
So in this video, you're going to see Maya's before and after. Maya is 19 years old. She came here as a working student. She stayed with me for less than a month, so less than 30 days. And this was the very first time that she rode with me. I put her on Lily on a lunge line to try and get her to do some air brakes and walk and trot just to kind of see where she's at. And as you can see in the video, she's really struggling to use her seat and her abs. She's breathing like really aggressively. Lily's not really listening. And she's just really struggling trying to use her seat because that's something she never did before in her life. Even though she had lots of riding lessons, growing up, this was the first time that she actually had to, let's say, ride a real horse and not just be a passenger on a nice lesson pony. So here you can also see she's really just struggling with Lily, even to just get a basic down transition. Lily is by no means a slow, lazy horse, but Maya was really kicking her and really struggling to get Lily to move because Lily is one of those horses that if you don't know what you're doing, she thinks that you can't ride, and her default is to just halt and to politely ask you to get off of her. So the fact that Maya was struggling so much really shows with Lily. You can see Maya's really used to just kicking all the time. She has no lower leg contact, especially here in the canter. The circle is small. She's really not having very much steering or control. I think if these poles weren't there, Lily would have just gone wherever she felt like it. But yeah, you can really see that she has absolutely no lower leg contact. Lily's kind of diving in on the circle. Lily's making all the decisions, basically. And also Maya's canter seat, she really starts to bounce. Again, she doesn't really know how to use those ab muscles. Her air brakes, this is, the first time she's trying it, but they're definitely needing a lot of work. And her seat, her abs, her reins, pretty much everything was really needing a lot of help. And Lily's great because she really brings it out and she makes you do it correctly. So this is Maya again on her last and final ride on Lily, and this was less than 30 days she'd been at the stables riding Lily 5 times a week, only using the horse riding lessons, audio lessons inside of our app. You can see that Maya is much more comfortable and confident on Lily. Lily even is doing quite a bit of extended trot with Maya, even though Maya has no clue how to do the extended trot. She doesn't know how to get correct contact, but still she was able to get Lily to have this really nice extended trot. And she's able to ride it much, much better than she could before. She's not bouncing. She's not moving around as much with her seat. She's a little bit more steady with her leg and her reins. And you can see, boom, she's able to actually use her ab muscles and her core in order to get those down transitions with Lily. Here you can see she's also practicing some jumping seat, and Lily is not at all needing to be kicked or encouraged to move, and in fact Maya can just stay with her. And I think the biggest improvement was the canter for Maya. She was mostly doing a lot of walk trot audio lessons in the beginning, but as you can see in the end here on her final day on Lily, she could actually sit in the saddle and canter, and Lily was naturally getting into contact much better because she could really sit in the saddle, activate the core muscles, her abs, and she could really be much more still and quiet on Lily's back. So all in all, a huge amount of progress with Maya on her riding journey, and this was really and truly all 100% from the horse.